So, welcome everybody to today's show. As you know, your host, this is Rejoice on the Umatic Consultant platforms. We are on Clubhouse, we are on LinkedIn, we are on Spotify, and now we're also going to make our way on YouTube. Today, it's a pleasure to be here with Samuel to discuss his career journey or development, and also for us to learn a little bit more about how he progressed into his current career and his long term goals. So, with further ado, or before we start, I would love, Samuel, if you can introduce yourself a little bit, tell us about yourself, and then pass the mic back to me so I can ask you some few questions. So please go ahead.
Sure, absolutely. And so this is my first time on Clubhouse actually speaking. So how do I pass the mic back?
Oh, no worries. You just say, Rejoice, I'm passing the mic to you, and then I'll take it from there.
Got you. And the funny thing is that I have a story about Clubhouse. So this was years ago. Clubhouse was fairly new. And one of my friends, we're going to call him Eddie, right?
Okay.
So we worked with Eddie together in the financial services business. And so mind you, that we had a Zoom call. It was about 300 people on there. And Eddie was asked to basically do a quick presentation on Clubhouse, what it is and how it worked, right?
Okay.
So Eddie was able to share his screen. He came to Clubhouse. And let's just say Eddie was filthy, right?
Okay.
He was following some platforms, and the kind of conversations that were going on was a little bit inappropriate, and Eddie didn't have a chance to clean his Clubhouse before he shared his screen. So every time I get to Clubhouse, I just remind me of that story, and I just start laughing. I was like, "Oh, Eddie, you filthy animal."
Well, it's a good icebreaker, and it's a good story to remember every time you come on Clubhouse.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's like I want to say my third or fourth time here on Clubhouse. Yeah, so I kind of stayed away because it scared me a little bit.
Gotcha. Understood. I promise we'll make you comfortable in this room and hope we can gain value from this discussion. So, Samuel, tell us who you
Yes.
are. Tell us a little bit about yourself so our audience listening know a good information about why you're here today.
Absolutely. Yeah, so my name is Samuel Afriyie, originally from Ghana, and you know something funny. So Rejoice, growing up in Ghana, right, I thought my mother was rich, because she was in America, right? And then you get here and you find out that your mother is broke, right? So she was cleaning bathrooms, working for Marriott Hotel. Shout out to Marriott. And to help her supplement her income, we started cleaning like my neighbor's churches and stuff like that. But of course, I knew that there could be more to life. And so the way that I knew how to help my family get out of that situation, of course, was to go to school, right? Because that's what they tell us. So immediately after high school, went to college, failed my first semester, right? There was a lot of partying, but I kind of got my act together during the second semester, and I got a system on what I needed to do to graduate. So I graduated on time, and immediately after graduating, I was looking for a job, and I was struggling a little bit finding jobs, and I found out that the people who were having success were military personnel. So I joined the United States Army at the time. This was around 2014. So I joined the United States Army as a what you call as an enlisted personnel. So I did that, did my boot camp, did AIT, everything was awesome. And then I came back, started working at the State Department as a diplomatic security officer. So if you ever been around the what is it called? C Street. What is on C Street again? It's not the White House. It's
Capital?
no, not Capitol. It's what is it called? The State Department, right?
Gotcha.
So yeah, so you see those guys in the white uniform with the weapons and everything.
Right.
I don't know if you ever been around there. Yeah, so I did that for about 2 years, and after that, while serving in the army, I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be an officer, so I enrolled to get my MBA, And also during that time, I did ROTC to commission as a second lieutenant. So I did that. Started working at the right when I did that. I started working at the um, DC Army National Guard. That's my department. So I did that, and so a lot of the stuff that you guys saw on TV during the Black Lives Matter and all the COVID missions, right? The stuff that you guys saw on TV, like the riots, I was in there. Right, things got real during that time, and that gave me a worldview of what was really going on in America and what was getting ready to happen. So during my time there, so Biden gets in office, basically passed the whole law saying, "Hey, everybody need to get the shot." I said no, so I ended up leaving my position there. And during that time, I had to figure something else. So that's how I kind of got into financial services and been working for myself ever since. And this was, I want to say, around 2001. So yes, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Samuel. So I just want to make sure we have a look good sense of where you're located. You're in the U.S., correct? You're
Correct.
Ghanaian originally. You're in the U.S. and I believe Washington, correct? To be precise, Steve.
I'm in Maryland, about
Maryland.
15 minutes outside of DC.
Awesome, awesome. And then in terms of your current career, what are you currently doing currently?
Right. So right now I'm in the financial services industry. My bread and butter has been teaching people about tax-free retirement and using life insurance as a strategy for it. And I also do mortgage protection, financial planning, basically anything that has to do with learning about money.
Awesome. We like money, Africans. We do. We do.
Of
I like
course.
money. That's what we're here for. So, first question to you, Samuel. First of all, thank you for being here and spending your Saturday afternoon with us, with our audience, with all platforms that we use here on from UMATA Consulting. As I mentioned, we're on Clubhouse. We are on Spotify. We are getting on YouTube pretty soon, Facebook, and other mediums. We're going to be building more platforms for people to be listening. Twitter, too. If you're on Twitter listening, shout out to you as well. First question to Sam. Can you tell us about a specific career goal you set for yourself and how you work towards achieving it for those of us who want to learn the steps of achieving goals?
Yeah. So career goal that I had, and I actually jumped on it, and it's a little bit removed from the financial services. Was is the trucking business. And right now I'm working on it. I'm just waiting on some finance to actually get the truck on the road. So as far as I believe you said, a strategy on how to get to it, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. The first one I'm gonna say is I am a Christian, so the first thing is, of course, you gotta put God first, right? You need a game plan, and the Bible says what many other plans in a man's heart, but the purpose that God has for you will prevail, right? So number one is praying about it, seeking wisdom and guidance to make that happen. And number two is you need self discipline. I think that is missing in a lot of things that people want to do. We all want to achieve certain things, right? But a lot of times you find out people don't have discipline. And when it comes to discipline, I'm talking about taking care of course, your health and setting hard timelines, right? So if you say, hey, so for example, with the truck, I made it my goal to make sure I have a truck by before the end of this month, specifically on the 26th, as I see it on my board, which I'm thinking is going to be, I believe is going to be Monday, right? Yeah, the 26th is this Monday. And so that basically helps. It triggers something in your mind, right? To get going and put in, and not just talking. So I'm going to say first one is, of course, asking God for wisdom. And number two is personal discipline and setting some hard timeline for your goals and the things that you want to happen in your life.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate your answers, and please listen to the nuggets, take what you can from it, and apply it. So, our next question for you, Sam. Thank you so much for sharing. How do you typically approach identifying new opportunities or professional growth and development? What has been working for you?
As far as identifying new opportunities.
Correct, or just
Right.
professional growth in
So
general.
yes, so the first one is me is first identifying what comes natural to me, right? I think we all have different talents and abilities, and with social media now, I think a lot more people focus on other people and what they're doing instead of looking at what they do best. For example, I have a lot of buddies in IT, and it's a ton of money in IT, but I know I will be miserable doing IT, right? Just sitting in front of a computer all day, that is going to be a challenge for me. I like people. I genuinely enjoy being around people and talking with people. So I know the things that I thrive at are engaging other people, being outside, seeing what's going on, and just being really in the community. So one thing I always look at is the things that come natural to me, my natural talents and abilities, and seeing how I can expand on that. Right, there are always some technical skills that you're going to need to learn when it comes to the things that you want to do, but I think first identifying the natural talents and abilities that God has given me to really help me identify the opportunities that are going to work for me. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And then when you identify them, what do you typically do next?
So after I identify them, next thing I do naturally is I go on YouTube.
Okay.
I am a YouTube nerd. I have a bit of a challenge, sitting still and actually consuming information as far as reading.
Okay.
But I am a listener, right? Yeah. So I listen and I look at people, right? I They say some things are taught and some things are caught, right?
Right.
So for me, it's going on YouTube and gathering as much information as possible. I want the great, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And I always look at the best possible outcome and also the worst case scenario. And for me, the worst case scenario is always death, right? Once you die, then the game is over. So gathering those intel from YouTube and taking notes and looking at the pros and cons and just going ahead and taking that giant step. So I want to say research on YouTube. I'm a YouTube guy.
Awesome, awesome. Then going along with that, I love that you mentioned YouTube as a place where you can study and learn or listen to things that are of interest to you. Could you describe a time where? Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase the question. What strategies do you use to stay updated in your industry, the financial industry, and advancements? What do you do?
Yes. So I have subscribed to a few people on YouTube. I listen to Patrick and David. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, and also by Entertainment. And over there, because he is from the financial services industry, he covers that. He covers anything that has to do with money and also the political climate that's going on, not just in our country but also around the world. So, for me, the biggest ones are YouTube, right? Subscribing to the people that you want to listen to, and also using social media like Instagram, where whenever those individuals post anything that is of interest, I get a notification and I take the time to read, listen, and watch what they have to say about whatever that's going on at the moment.
Awesome, awesome, cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So,
Cool.
like you said, whatever industry you in, stay on top of the people who are communicating about it, and learn from them. Love that. Love that. So, Sam, have you ever encountered a career setback or obstacle? And how we're curious to find out how did you, overcome it? What did you learn from it that we can take in?
Right. So it's a lot. But one particular one has been leveraging social media for my business, right? Or even funds. So I'm in the financial services industry. My bread and butter, of course, is life insurance and anything money related. And I used to use different type of funnel, really, Facebook. And I was having a lot of traction on Facebook as far as getting new clients and prospects coming in and talking about their needs as far as money is concerned. And of course, Facebook is constantly changing, right? They went from
Right.
Facebook to Meta.
Right.
The algorithm completely changed, and I was paying a lot of money monthly for that platform. And my the gentleman who had worked on it for me, he had to stay up to date, and he was having some challenges giving me the results that I wanted because before it was really, really good, and it didn't happen as much as I wanted it to happen. So I had to pivot a little bit. So I put a hold on what I was doing on that Facebook and started going out there really marketing myself, right? Just going out there shaking hands, kissing babies, as they
Awesome.
like to call it, and really being out in the community and just letting people know, hey, this is what I do, right? If you have any needs, feel free to call me. So that's how I have been able to sort of stay on top of my game, but this always could be better.
Awesome. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. I guess a follow up question to your answer, I'm curious about, or maybe folks in the audience may be curious as well. And guys, don't hesitate to write your questions in the chat so I can pick it up and ask Sam. Um, is it difficult for a Black person or an African person to be in the financial industry? Is this a place that we can find ourselves being comfortable in?
Absolutely. There is a market for us. For me, as far as being black in the world in general, there's always a challenge. But what I discovered was that there is a market for us, right? So, for example, and I always use this example. Let's say we have some Africans here, right? I don't know if anybody besides you and I don't know who else is Ghanaian, but and I'm gonna say something in our language, right? So let's say Rejoice. Let's say you're sick, right? You're having some stomach ache, right? And you go to a Ghanaian doctor and you tell him, "Oh, doctor, me yemo suffer, right? Me yemo suffer, right?"
Right.
They know exactly what you're saying, right? It's very relatable. They know how to treat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and for the folks out there, what I was saying was translation is you explain to the doctor that you have a stomach ache, but the word that I use is different from stomach ache, right? It's different. And so what I was telling them was that me servicing an African person, it's a lot different from somebody else who may not be African or quote unquote black to understand, right? Because as a Ghanaian, I know how my mother spent her money, right? As soon as she gets the check, she got bills. She's trying to build a house back home. Um, who else? The family back home. Somebody needs some money, right? Somebody died, and they have to chip in and do all these things. So when I get to the table and we're talking about their money and their personal finances, I'm not going to talk to them as the way I'm going to talk to someone who's of a different race. I can do that too, but when I'm talking to other Africans, I find out that I am a lot more relatable than somebody who may not quote unquote be African, right? So there is the specific niche for us. And when I'm speaking to somebody from Ghana, right, and they speak Chi, I speak Chi. Let's say they're from Nigeria, I make jokes. We talk about Mr. Igbo. We might speak some broken English and talk about, how far Africans have come since 2004 when it wasn't cool to be African, right?
Right.
But now it is. So there's so many angles and so many ways to come in and be relatable to those people. And so again, when it comes to that, I don't see my blackness as a weakness at all. It's actually a strength because I'm able to relate to anybody from anywhere on the continent of Africa. And if I don't know their story or their history, that is an opportunity for me to learn so that when I meet someone from that country, I have something to talk about and share with them. And as Black people or even Africans or immigrants in general, our stories are all the same. I don't care whether they're from Ghana, Nigeria, or even my Latino brothers and sisters, right? We're all here for what we know as the American dream. So there's definitely a niche for Africans or even Black people in general to be in this industry. And there's also the number one industry that creates the most millionaires, the financial services industry, in case you people didn't know.
Awesome, which we want to become millionaires, right? And billionaires.
Oh, absolutely. Why not? I mean, RIP to the billionaires who just died in a tin can. I mean,
Yeah, good point.
sucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good point. Good point.
right.
Thank you so much, Samuel. You said a lot of
Absolutely.
powerful nuggets here. For the people just entering the room, just want to refresh so you sort of have a good understanding of what we're talking about. Today, we have the privilege and honor of speaking with Samuel. He's a financial strategist. I'm sure you guys have been hearing different financial formulas that he has given us, or maybe devices or advice, suggestions in terms of his career, what he's been doing to advance himself and also encourage, motivate other people who are interested in pursuing his path or just learning a little bit about career development in general. So we've been asking him some questions. Feel free to put in the chat if you have a specific question you want me to ask him, and I'm more than happy to do so. After my questions, I'll bring people up who want to come and engage with him. We're also recording this conversation on all of our social media platforms. So we're not only on on Clubhouse right now. We're on a bunch of platforms at the moment. So please bear with me so we can finish these questions, and then we'll get to the interactive part, the engagement part, where you can come up and chill with us on the platform. So the next question for you, Samuel, I'm curious to find out, how do you balance your short term and long term aspirations, career aspirations? For some of us, we're in the moment trying to figure out what to do to achieve short term goals. And then there are some of us who are struggling doing things for long term goals, but we can't figure out the short term goals. So, is there any tips that you have for us regarding how to balance short term and long term career aspirations?
So what I would say is, and that's a great question, by the way. I once heard someone say that we underestimate what we can do now in the present, and we overestimate what we can do in the future, right? So when it comes to short-term goals, I keep it simple. I look at where I am at the moment and where I would like to be in the next 30 days, right? 30 days to maybe 60 days. And whatever it is, I write it down, right? The Bible says, write the vision down, make it plain, right? I write it down. I have a board here and I zoom in on it, right? Whatever it is, I just got to write it down, attach a deadline to it. Something I learned from Brian Tracy when he talks about SMART goals. I think when it comes to short term goals, be where I was lacking was I never attached a deadline to a specific goal, right? So whatever your short term goals are, write it down, attach a deadline to it, and start working on it. And as far as your long term goals are concerned, those ones I write those down, but I kind of, I guess, trick myself a little bit to forget about it, because if you start working on your short term goals, eventually those are going to help facilitate what can happen long term, right? So for me, my short term goals are always the priority. So write the short term goals down, attach a deadline, and work as hard as possible as you can on it. And if you take care of the present, the future is going to take care of itself. And don't stress too much about long term goals, because those can paralyze you.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Sam, you said it really nicely. I love it. If you take care of your present, the long-term goals will be laid out for you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Guys, write these tips down, write these nuggets down, share with somebody, share the room with someone. I think Samuel is really energizing us. I'm pretty pumped to look at my short-term goals and see how that would be impacted in the future. So thank you so much. Huh?
Um, I was saying when I die, right? So I can have you give the eulogy at my funeral. You making me sound like a G. You making me look too good, but I appreciate you.
No, you are a genius. Don't, of course, I feel like if you're around great people, you just bounce that energy. I think, what does the Bible say? Iron sharpens iron, right? So we,
Absolutely.
we we bounce off each other pretty well, and that's what you need in this life, though. You need people who are going to continue to push you, so you can push them to achieve their goals. But thank you for that little kudos, and I would love to do that for you. But whatever you need from me in terms of speaking wise, I'm your girl. I'll be there. So
Let's do it.
awesome, awesome. So our next, I guess, question. I know we have someone in the audience who also uh put a question in the chat. I'm gonna get to that. Please give me some few minutes. We would like to find out. Can you give us an example when you sought out feedback or guidance from your mentor or supervisor to support your career development? Has there ever been a time where you took a step back and you're like, I need a mentor, or you called your mentor, can you give me an advice? And how does that work? That mentor mentee relationship.
Right. I'm actually there right now. So I have my cousin here, Nanabidi. Shout out to Nanabidi. He's in Ghana right now. So about a few years, I want to say 2 years ago, I was looking into the trucking industry, and of course, I don't know anything about it. So I immediately called him. The guy is a plumber, but he's done very, very well for himself. He's one of those people who have this natural talents and abilities as far as getting things done. I don't know how he does it, but I immediately called him and we got together. And he has connections, right? That there's nobody in this DMV that he doesn't know. So he immediately started connecting me with people, the right people actually. Where we have a gentleman who gave us great advice and a great game plan as far as what we need to do, and to the point where even with as far as like my timeline and other things were concerned, I thought it was going to take me a very long time. But once he connected me to the right people, they gave me some great feedback and plans as far as what I want to do and how to go about achieving it. And although I don't call him a mentor, he's more like a brother. Uh, to answer your question, I'm actually doing it right now. So having a mentor or coach for feedback is consistent. You need that, right? You need people who are intelligent than you to help you get to the next level, no matter what you want to do, whether it's business, relationship, or anything that you want to see happen in your life.
Love it. Love it. Beautiful. Your last statements are always amazing, by the way, Sam. I just love it. And the reason why I'm so pumped about it is because we talk a lot about relationship topics here on Clubhouse. And I love
Right.
that you connected the ability to have someone as a mentor guide you into making that great decision is also critical and important. So, shout out to you. Thank you so much for adding that into your submission. I think it was beautiful. So I want to also ask you, Sam, have you ever pursued any sort of certifications for your financial career courses or any additional education to enhance your skills and qualifications to be in the role that you're in? Or do you feel like it's not important? What is your opinion on certifications?
Yeah. So when it comes to certs, that is America for you, right? I think that one of the systems that America has, and I think that's what keeps the economy going, is Uncle Sam and his people are always going to find a way to get some money out of you. So with certs, you
Yes,
cannot run
sir.
away from cert.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No, I was saying I agree. I concur with you with the Uncle Sam and how, they will come after you.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. So as far as certs are concerned, especially in the financial services industry, it's highly regulated. So I do have a ton of certs. Besides just my life insurance producer license, I got the help as well. Every year you have to renew that cert every 2 years. There are some other certs that we need to stay updated on every year, right? As far as making sure we stay up to date. And whenever somebody gets in office, they always do something as far as people's retirement